Welcome to Spirit Outspoken, the podcast for Christians who are ready to explore the deeper side of faith. We believe God's truth is bigger than what we've been taught, and that real spirituality isn't something to fear, it's something to discover. Each week, we open the space to explore miracles, energy, healing, consciousness, and divine science, all through the lens of a God who loves us and a faith that's still unfolding. Whether you're deconstructing, rebuilding, or just feeling spiritually stuck, this is your place to reconnect with wonder, deepen your walk, and let the Spirit speak. In today's episode, we're joined by the incredible Taylor Perkins for a deep dive conversation that might just shift the way you see everything. From reflection to manifestation, the mirror of reality, the divine feminine, and the power already within you. Let's begin where most spiritual journeys do, with a simple question that opens the door to everything else. Section 1, the mirror of reality. So much of our spiritual path hinges on one truth. You don't experience life as it is, but as you are. In this next section, Taylor unpacks how reality is a mirror, and why your outer world is always trying to show you something hidden within.
Reality is a mirror, okay? It's a reflection. And here's why this is so cool. Because people talk about things like manifestation, right? Where it's positive thinking, positive energy. If you don't have the abundance you want in your life, you need to think good things are happening. Money is coming to me. Like it's always coming to me, right? And there are certain components of it where it's like the good things with reframing your mind and positive thinking. If you do it enough, it'll go into your subconscious. But that's where change happens, because it's like, you're not going to positively think yourself into something happen. You can put conscious energy, every thought that you have. This is why when Jesus on the Sermon on the Mount talks about like adultery or whatever, and then he was just like, but to even think about a woman, I say you've already committed it in your heart. He's literally talking about your thoughts are energy. Like it is creation. Okay. And so it's like, this is not about a physical action. This is about the energy behind it, right? That's what he's teaching. It is the same thing with manifestation, where it's like, you can put conscious energy towards something, and the amount of time and conscious energy you put to it, definitely you can create change within this reality, because everything is vibration, everything is frequency, everything is energy, manifest. But the moment you stop, it breaks, and that change isn't going to happen, right? But when you realize that reality is a mirror, and what is it reflecting back to you? What is it reading? It is the energy inside of you.
Section 2, judgment, triggers, and the divine in the other. It's easy to say we believe in love, but what about when that love is tested by the people who push every one of our buttons? Taylor shares how our deepest triggers may actually be the divine guides pointing us towards healing and wholeness.
It is your conscious energy and your subconscious energy. The things that you don't even know about yourself, right? It is reflecting it back to you. The triggers that happen in your life is showing you energy that you carry, right? And so when you were talking about how you're left leaning and you can be judgmental of someone that's super conservative, the mirror that is reality does not care how it presents itself. It just, if there's judgment in your heart, it's going to give you something to judge. Right. And so it's like, you have Christians who really hate the LGBTQ community, right? They have judgment in their heart. So reality renders a community for them to judge. There's the LGBT community really hates Christian. So there's the energy of judgment in their heart. And so they're given a community to judge. It doesn't matter who is right in their judgment, because the thing is, from both of their perspectives, they feel like they're right, which is why they're judging, right? It's where that energy comes from. And so it manifests, right? And so all of our triggers, all of the things that we hate in reality, our worst enemies, they are divine guides. They are literally angels sent to trigger you, to show you where you can expand into your fullest expression of love. Because if you can love the people you hate the most, congratulations. Everything else is so easy. Everything else falls into place, because if you can hold space for that, you can hold space for anything, right? And so when you start reframing your mind from that perspective, where it's like, what are the things I hate the most, and how can I expand into my expression of love to hold space for it? to allow it to exist, to say, I can disagree, but also I recognize I am not better. It is not outside of me. That is the most ironic thing, is that for Christians who don't like the LGBT community, that community was sent to serve them, and they are divine guides and angels. And then it goes the other way around. Those that hate the conservatives, they're actually your divine teachers. And if you hold them with holiness, you will see it. And it's so beautiful. So there's this scripture that came out of the Gospel of Thomas. And it's so interesting because I read it after I had this download where I just truly understood that reality is a mirror. And so basically it's like verse 5, and it says, Jesus said, recognize what is in your sight, which I would say, look into the mirror with awareness, and that which is hidden from you will become plain to you. There is nothing hidden that will not become manifest, right? And it's like everything that is hidden inside of you, your traumas, your programming, your limited beliefs, your arrogance, whatever it may be, it manifests. And that's why awareness is so important, is because you realize there is no separation. All of this chaos that is going on, this is me. I can take personal responsibility for this. How am I putting my energy towards this? How do I need to clean up my energy? People have free agency. I don't want to use these spiritual truths as a means of bypassing. It definitely becomes very complicated. But what I am saying is you can go inwards or you can look outwards, but you're going to see the same thing. And it's like, and the crazy thing is, the more you do both, the more you start realizing that there is no separation. It's all me. And here's why this is a superpower, because you go in, you do the shadow work. You look at the things you don't want to look at, because that's what the mirror is showing you. When these amazing teachers talk about how the wounds or the shadow is where the light comes in, the shadow is actually showing you where your power is. The reason why that is your wounds, your traumas, your shadow is what's causing you to collapse into these lower states of consciousness. And they hold you there. Once you heal yourself, you're not actually growing or expanding. You've just broken the container that was limiting you, and you feel the space, because expansion is your natural form. God literally split itself into the smallest pieces to understand itself on the biggest, most microcosmic level, right? Where it's just like all of these different expressions. And so this isn't about right and wrong. This is all about expression and understanding. And so you, in your state, you can hold whatever your energy is. Reality will render around you. And I have experienced this. But the thing is, you cannot tell someone and like they won't see it, because to them, nothing has shifted. But this is what people talk about when they say quantum shifting or timeline shifting. It is simply holding an energetic state, and then reality reflects whatever energy you are holding. And so the reason why this is important is you'll realize, okay, I'm manifesting more money, right? And it's like, I want more money is coming to me. Or people will talk about how they're calling things in. When you call something in, you're reinforcing the fact that it is outside of you and that you don't have it. And so the mirror does not reflect what you want, it reflects what you are. And so calling something in, it's going to reflect to you, you don't have it, it is outside of you, right? When people sit with beliefs of, I'm going to be happy once X, Y, and Z happen. Once I have this, I will be happy. Once I have this, I will feel safe. What reality is going to reflect is, you don't have this, you're not happy. You don't have this, you're not safe. It is going to be very hard for you to force those things to happen. But the easy thing is to create it for yourself. Embody that energy. I am happy with everything I have right now. I am so safe. I am so grateful. Everything is so perfectly designed. That is what abundance is, right? You look at these billionaires who have all the money in the world, and they need more because they need safety, they need power. Money doesn't equal abundance. They are very scarce in their mindset, very scarce, right? You don't need money to feel abundant. You just need to remind yourself that all of this isn't real. It is imaginary. It is an extension of you. And because it is you, you are never in danger. Because even the idea that something can happen to you and you die, it's like, it's a dream. This is all a dream. You are always safe. You have everything you need. You're always taken care of. And when you hold that state, things will begin to shift. And when people talk about raising the timeline, I think it's funny because in spiritual communities, you also hear people talking about ascension, where it's like, we're ascending into 5D and like other people are being left behind. And it's like, that's you. Everyone is an expression of you. Why would you want to leave anyone behind? It's like you are still in hierarchical thinking. You've just branded it as spirituality. It's like there's people who think they're better because they have more money. There are people that think they're better because they're more intelligent. It's like you just think you're better because you're more spiritual. It's like it's all the same energy. And it's just like it manifests in a different way. But what you will see is like we have 8 billion different people who are projecting into reality. There are 8 billion different versions that all coalesce into this physical plane. And so what the goal is the more people that hold that energy of abundance, of safety, of total, complete Christ consciousness love, where everything is safe to express. So I'm safe in my individuality, so you are safe in your individuality. Even if I don't understand you, I can trust that you are perfectly designed because I know I am perfectly designed. But the funny thing is, it's like you hear these sappy sayings, where you're just like, oh, that's sweet. Like, be the change you want to see in the world. It's like change starts at home. Like, you can only change yourself. It's like all these things are 1,000% true. It's 1,000% true, where it's like you hold this energetic state. If you hold that state, you will vibrate at a powerful frequency. That frequency is like a tuning fork. It will tune those that are tuned into and ready to vibe with you. Those who are not meant to vibe with you are not going to be tuned into the same frequency and they will be repelled, right? There is a magnetism to this, and it is a self-sorting puzzle. So allow it to self-source. Allow it to do its thing. Allow the people who reject what you're doing. It's like, that is totally fine. It's not meant for you. And I can hold space for that. The people that are meant will be called in. This does not bypass the physical change that we have to be. We talk about the things that we need to change. Where can I participate in the things that are going on to make sure that I am at service to the collective? You look at the protests that are going on, the dangers that are happening in this world, the people who are suffering, right? It's like spirituality and this understanding that things are a mirror and that nothing is real. This is where you have to embrace paradox. It's like pain isn't real because none of this is real. Pain is very real, which is why we need to take it seriously and physically implement change. Because those children who are starving to death, that pain is so real. They're going to be taken care of. They're going to be rewarded. Like, they will never die. It all works out in the end. Let's change it. Let's make sure this never happens. Let's get food in their mouths and start changing the world to be something better, right? The biggest piece of conditioning that drives me nuts, is when people say, well, that's not the way the world works. And it's like, no. We are in charge. We can make this work any way that we want to. It's like, how have you committed to this crappy system? And you're like, this is just the way that it is. Open your mind. I look at like American football. I love football. And it's this competition, who can score the most touchdowns, right? And they're beating each other up. So fun to watch, so fun to be involved in. How stupid and easy would football be if you weren't playing against anyone and it was just kind of like, hey, how many touchdowns can we score? It's like, it'd be so easy and so dumb that nobody would watch it because there's no drama. It's the same thing with building technology. It's the same thing with advancing medicine. It's like, there's so much competition in the world where you hear these things about companies buying super advanced companies just so that they can suppress the technology so that they can maintain a monopoly, right? You look at industries like the finance industry, you look at our lawyers, and there's this air of intelligence, but all it is they've created complexity so that you cannot do something without them. They made something harder than it needs to be to provide a space for someone to translate this over complexity. We create problems for us to solve. Like, it's so stupid. It's so dumb where it's like, why are we doing this? Why is nobody awake? It's the same with our politicians. They create problems that they have to solve so that they're in need. And it's like, if we just get out of our own ways and realize that collaboration is way better. You look at World War II, the world's brightest minds came together and figured out how to split an atom to create the most amount of destruction possible to stop people from fighting. And it's like the human mind did that. And you're telling me that if we got past these illusions of competition between countries and different things, and we just put the world's smartest minds towards how do we create free energy? How do we create a sustainable system where we don't have to destroy the earth, but we can live with the earth? You look at all the expertise that we have on the animals on this earth that we are stewards of. And it's like, you're telling me humans couldn't come up with something where it's just like, how can we grow the population of everything? How can we create systems where everything benefits and it's symbiotic, right? And it's like, we get rid of competition, it would be stupidly easy. It would be like watching football with no competition where it's like, how many touchdowns can you score? And it's just like, well, how many do you want to? Like we can truly get out of our own ways and start building these incredible things. But we've been so programmed to accept stupidity and over complexity for the sake of over complexity. And then we tell ourselves, it's like, well, this is just the way the world is. And it's like, cool, let's look at history. The world's fucking stupid. It's so dumb. Let's throw this in the trash and let's create something better, right? Like imagine if our school systems weren't, okay, how do we create these employees? How do we train children to become this? But what if we realize, because you can look at the advancement of humans, every generation is increasingly smarter and more intelligent, right? It's the same thing that we see with technology. With every advancing phone, right? It's like the next generation can do something new. It's always getting better. It is the same thing with human beings, right? Intelligence, you need to marry intelligence with the wisdom that comes with knowing the human experience, right? This is why we need our elders and we need to listen to elders and those with experience. But imagine what the school system would be like is if we realized that every child was a super advanced quantum computer that is a divine messenger that holds keys to advance humanity, to save humanity, to solve a problem that we're facing right now. Every time we have a child, we are bringing someone into the world that is bringing the answer with them. And so if we would look at our schooling systems as how do we give them every resource that we can for them to tap into their full potential? How do we create systems that don't limit their expression, but allow them to fully express who they are and what they are? Because they have something that we need. They have something that's going to serve us, right? Like, again, it's you look at this spectrum where it's the fear-based individuality. I'm not safe. I need something. I need more. And then you look at the other side where it's the highest expression of love. We can do this as a collective. It solves all of the problems. When you look at governments, it's like, what would a government look like in its highest expression of love? And what does a government look like in the lowest expression, fear-based, right? And then there's a whole spectrum. So how do we get it to, a larger expression of love? How do we get schooling into a better expression of love? How do we get community focus? You look at the poverty that's going on in the world. You look at the philanthropy. Well, how can we turn it into a higher expression of love, right? It's the only perspective we need to solve these problems. Spirituality is not figuring out the secrets to the universe. Sometimes people, it's like we're in this symphony and they want to rush to get to the end so that they can figure it out. But it's like, if you came from source and you are source, you're going to return to source. And it's like this whole idea that you need to become something. It's like, there is no becoming. It's an illusion. You took on imperfection for a reason. I know that we love the idea where it's like, we need to learn, we need to grow, and we need to become. And it's just like, it is. It is. And it took on imperfection. And so just trust that your imperfection is by design. Trust that your learning is actually an expansion through your unique experience that the universe that God has through you, right? And so it's not just about becoming, because there is no end goal for you. Your expansion is different than my expansion. Your expression of the totality of love is going to be different to mine because we're going to express into different areas. But I can tell you that love is going to hold space for all of us. And so it's going to be okay. The more that we do this, the more society will do it. Society will begin to express more love, which will lead to more unity consciousness, collaboration, which will mean our expansion becomes more rapid. We start tapping into things, but it's not about learning something that we don't know. It's like the answer's already there, guys. It's love. It's always been love and it always will be love. So let's not overcomplicate this. It's like sometimes we create the illusion that we need to become something so that we can go in this circle and feel like we're progressing instead of actually taking on the work. But it's like we already have the answer. And the cool thing is, you already have the blueprint. It's inside of you. Your blueprint's different than mine, but you think you came without it? You think they sent you down here and they were just like, figure it out? No, you came with everything you need. The only reason why you need to figure it out is because society has given you so much programming where you don't trust your blueprint and you trust everything outside of you. And we just need people to get back to the scripture that you contain within you, to realize that if you feel like there is more there out there for you, that you deserve more, that you're not your fullest expression. It's like that is God communicating to you very directly. That is source speaking to your heart, telling you there's more. Quit constraining yourself, like express more. There is more for you, right? And you're safe. You are safe to hold that energy because the universe, again, is infinitely expanding, which means there is infinite space, which means your expansion, my expansion, everyone's expansion. It is not a zero-sum game. My expansion does not take space away from yours. There is infinite space for all of us to be in our full expression. When I think of abundance, it's not for me to become ultra wealthy, because for me to be ultra wealthy, it means that I have to manifest that someone is not going to be. Because where's the comparison going to come from, right? And so my abundance is holding the energy of I have everything I need and everyone else has everything they need. And the world that we're going to be in is that every need is provided for. And so it's like, why would I need more than what I need? What would I need? Like, why do I need more if I have everything I need? It's like, let that more go to the people who need it so that everyone can have what they need. You look at the cells in your body contain the energetic potential of the entire being. That is what a stem cell is it's waiting for the directions for it to know what to manifest in the physical form, right? It is a fractal. It is a piece of the entire being. It is the same thing with us. And this is why when people talk about quantum shifting, where present and future all occur, okay? This whole illusion of good versus bad, or even like human beings ascending in our consciousness, the entire book's already been written and it's already happened and it all exists. Right. And so we do not need to worry about this. I know it's so fun to be like, how's this all going to turn out? It's going to be fine. Hate to spoil the ending. It all is perfectly designed. We are right where we need to be. But the cool thing is you, in whatever that expansive energetic state is, has already happened. It is already there. Right. And this is where you kind of have to switch off the logic of your brain, which is a consciousness limiter, and say, you don't need to understand how, because it can't understand. This is the paradox where you hold space for paradox, where you're like, it doesn't make sense, but I know it's true. It already exists. So you're not creating something. You are not faking it till you make it. And you are not calling in something outside of you. You need to realize that you are a stem cell, and the current programming and instructions you have told you to manifest as this state, right? You are the programmer. You can remove whatever instructions you currently have that are collapsing you into this specific form. And at any point in time, you can collapse yourself into a new form. your highest form, the highest expression of your form. And that's what, when I say you embody the energy, and then what happens again, like the scripture says, recognize what's in your sight, that which is hidden from you will become plain to you, for nothing hidden will not become manifest. Every single thing that you hold energetically is being manifest. And so if you have the confidence to look with awareness at your current mirror, it's going to show you the things that are hidden from you. It's going to show you where you're collapsing yourself, the things that you don't want to see, right? The things that are hard to look at. But the thing is, it's not scary. It's not hard to look at. I can love myself unconditionally. I can recognize I'm not perfect. I can recognize that, like, I can say these really cool things. I have this platform. I have like a certain amount of gnosis and understanding that people vibe with. I am not a guru. I am not your teacher. I am not here to lead you. Like, I'm just doing my thing and I'm sharing what has helped me. And if it resonates with you, what it's going to do is unlock the wisdom that's already in you, and you're going to be on your path. This is not because of me. Like, I'm not doing anything, right? And so it's just, I can look at myself and I don't have to perform. I don't have to pretend to be perfect. I don't have to yark so that my followers think that I'm something I'm not, because it's just like, I'm just being my full expression. If someone vibes with it, great. If they don't, whatever. But I can look at the mirror fearlessly and say, where am I still an asshole? Where do I still manipulate? Where do I still do things that cause collapse? Where do I doubt myself? Where do I preach one thing about the limitlessness of human potential, but where do I actually embody the energy of limitations and I collapse myself, right? It's like I can look at those things fearlessly because I'm in my expansion. And I love myself so unconditionally that I can hold space for my light and my shadow and honor all of it, because it's all a part of my path. It's all a part of this beautiful symphony. And I'm not rushing to hear the end of the song. It's like I'm taking in every moment of the music, right? In every expression, it's all a piece of you. And so you can take it in, you can honor it, you can love it. Every emotion you feel, when people talk about like you need to become a master of your emotions, it's not, okay, I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm mad, but because I am in control, I don't feel those things. It's expanding to hold space for all of the emotion, where you can hold the entirety of your anger and you can honor it and you can allow it existence, because you are the God of your internal universe. And there's not a single thing that shouldn't exist. You can look at all of your expressions as a divine expression and you can say, this is beautiful. I understand the anger. I honor this anger, right? Give it time and center stage and be in awe of its divinity. And what happens is, because you hold that space, is it will give up the stage and you're back into that balanced state, right? And that's how you master your emotions. That's Jesus calming the storm. It is you allowing the storm to exist and honoring it, but then also creating the peace within. It's not bypassing and getting rid of it. All of it is a divine expression.
Section 3, Divine Feminine, Power, and Suppression by Design. To truly awaken, we must also look at the systems we've inherited. Systems designed to disconnect us from our bodies, our emotions, and our inner wisdom. In this section, we explore how divine feminine energy has been suppressed and how we can begin to remember who we truly are.
You can look historically, and women, the feminine is the creative essence, right? It's 2025 and people still haven't looked through this, especially from Christianity, where I'm like, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. And you guys think that's the Trinity. And it's just like, okay, let's look at all of existence and let's look at the evidence and where does creation come from, And it's so funny. It's so funny because when we talk about divine feminine, it's like the divine masculine actually needs to come back too. We are saying the divine feminine is rising, but then we're weighing it against like the unhealthy masculine. And we have a suppressed feminine with an unhealthy masculine, right?
Yeah.
You can even look at things like colonization, where the colonizers represent the energy of an unhealthy masculine coming into an area, needing to dominate, needing to control, needing to extract, needing to have power. These native groups were very collective focused, very communal focused, which is the feminine. What was playing out in those instances is the unhealthy masculine energetically suppressing the feminine, needing to control it, needing to put it into a box. Because we carry that energy, it manifests into reality, right? There is no separation. It is all a reflection. Everything can be explained energetically. And when people say the divine feminine is rising, it is absolutely true, but it is very much true in men just as much as it is in women, right?
For sure.
But most women are more predominantly, we say most because it is like a spectrum. Most women are predominantly feminine leaning, but it's like we all have that expression. And going back to what I was saying at the beginning, the goal is for every individual, the highest energy you can express individually is to bring balance between your masculine and feminine and realize there is no separation within you. To your point, the suppression of women was 1,000% by design. You look at how sexuality has completely been demonized with women, and it's to keep you disconnected from your body or teaching you that your body is for a man's pleasure. And this is why you have to hide it because it's just this vehicle for pleasure. And it's like, no,
It's so
it is so false. This is why they branded Mary Magdalene as a prostitute, right? Because any woman who has ever expressed connection to her body and not felt shame in her expression and realizing that it's like, this is just me, I'm not doing this for a man, has been demonized, has been called a whore, has been called a prostitute, has been, it's like, you're this, right? That is deliberate. That is to separate you because the feminine is naturally in the body. It is grounded in the body. The body creates. Look at the body that we're living on, Mother Earth, and look at the creation that comes from it, right? And so it's like, okay, if we can disconnect women from their body, we disconnect them from their power. You look at emotions. Emotions are just energy, okay? What are women branded as? More emotional. So what does that tell you guys about the energy? It's like you have more powerful energy, right? But because we put you into the box and it's like, here's who and what you are, it disconnects you from your power, right? So now you're disconnected from your power in your body. You're disconnected from your power because of the emotions, the energy that you will, and then the ultimate disconnection that I know every woman intuitively knows this is your intuition. Like you guys always know things, but then society teaches you to like second guess it, right? You're in relationships where your partner has you second guess it, right? Where you're like, I know this is happening, but it's these like the playing the games and the different things like that, right? There's tons of different reasons why you're told not to believe it. But if you can truly look at yourself, you can realize that when you separate your emotion and pull emotion out of the situations, and when you are sitting in stillness, discernment, intuition, you guys are tapped in, right? And so by design, everything in society wants to keep everyone disconnected from power, but these are the things that we do to women, right? Teach you that you're beautiful and that your only purpose is your beauty. You are told from the moment you're born. I look at my daughters and it's like, when people come up to my sons, it's just like, wow, he's so amazing. He's so smart. He's so this, right? With my daughters, it's like, you guys are so beautiful. You are so pretty, right? And people think they're doing something nice, but it's putting the constraints, putting the boxes where you're told, here's who and what I am. Here's the role that I play. And, it's the same with men. There's so many different things, but ultimately it comes down to connecting with yourself, connecting with your power.
Section 4, Quantum Shifts, Timeline Surrender, and Heaven Now. We're not here to become something we're not. We're here to remember what's already within. In this final section, Taylor reveals why surrender isn't weakness. It's the highest form of trust and the gateway to quantum shifts.
You can look at Christianity. Satan exists because of the amount of people that think that Satan exists. If you have millions of people putting energy towards an entity that is doing these things, that energy creates the entity because we're creators that is doing it, right? If you sever your energy from it, it does not live in your world anymore. Like that was one of the biggest things that I saw for me, where it was like this thing, I felt the energy of it. I felt the presence. It was terrifying. And then as soon as I cut off the energy, it was just like, oh my God, I freed myself. And so that's why the shift in humanity needs to go from unconscious creation to conscious creation. But the thing is, we cannot force people. Love is not one person creating the vision and then forcing everybody to do it. What love is realizing that we all hold the blueprint. It is a self-sorting puzzle. I do not need to change you. I respect your divinity. I'm going to be my fullest expression of love. And I understand that that will ignite those that vibe with me. They will become their full expression. That will ignite those that vibe with them. And it creates these ripples. It creates the wave. Love holds space for everyone and everything. It is effortless. It is effortless. If we are trying to do something, we are doing it the wrong way because it does not take effort. It is our natural state. It's very interesting because the more accountability you can take for your energy, your actions, your personal reflection, the more you realize that like nothing is happening to you. It is all reflecting you to you so that you can become aware of it. And why do you need to become aware of something? Is because you are here to understand who and what you are. And if you will just look at your life from the perspective of, I'm not trying to become anymore. It's like, I just want to understand who this boy or girl is. I want to understand them fully and completely. Where do these emotions come from? Why do they come up? What are the desires and the passions that I have? Why do I have those? Do I express them? Do I not express them? Why? What holds me back? What gives me energy? What doesn't give me energy? And what you will see is the internal universe that you are that is so expansive and so beautiful. And the more you see it inside of you, then the world's going to get so much brighter. And then you're like, whoa, this reality is so perfectly imperfect. Again, nothing's outside of us. The biggest illusion is all of the chaos that is happening right now. So in the same way that like you are perfectly imperfect right now. Congratulations, you just achieved perfection. Like you did it. You reached the end. We did it. You are there. Like I was saying to anybody listening to the podcast, you don't need 30 years of meditation to become enlightened. You can do it right now. Enlightened is a vibration. It's a mindset. It is a conscious effort to be aware and recognizing you're never going to be perfect. And if you hold that state, expansion will always be available to you because you will not stop yourself from expanding. Congratulations, you just achieved enlightenment, right? And enlightenment means recognizing that you're not always going to be aware. And so when you're unconscious, you make the decision to become conscious again. You're doing it. Like you are enlightened. You are in that state by letting go and getting rid of the illusion of you're here and you need to become here. And just by understanding that you are perfectly imperfect where you're at, when you let go, going back to that hot air balloon analogy, the vibration naturally rises. Your expansion naturally happens, not because you're forcing it, but because you're not trying anymore. It's your natural state. It is the same thing with creating heaven on earth. We cannot look at earth where it's like, it's so imperfect right now. But if everybody would just shift and change, then we'll create heaven. The thing is realizing you're already in it. It is perfectly imperfect, all of this. And we don't have to understand it. And if we would just realize how good it is that we have it, then we can realize I don't need more. I have everything I need. Therefore, I can give my excess to those that need it. I look at like some of these, like the Dave Ramsey, there's like the video that's going around where he talks about all his investment properties that he has. And they're like, are you comfortable being a Christian and having all this excess? Right. He's like, well, I do it for God. He's like, I'm a steward for God, and I'm like, hey, I get that logic. And it's like, but just so you know, the parable of the talents was not about investing advice. And like the burying of the talents is actually people who are investing their money and burying it for themselves, right? Being like, I need more, more, more. It's like those that grew the talents are the ones that are using their resources, using everything they have to benefit humanity. Because if you're truly abundant, you realize it doesn't matter how much you have in your bank account. Whether you have $1 million that is growing at 15% in the stock market, or you put $1 million into creating beauty in the world, it is a reflection. So it's going to be reflected back to you. There is no loss. There's never a loss, right? It's like none of it is. It's all a reflection. And so it's just, we got to switch our mindsets just a little bit, switch our conditioning, switch our programming. But amazing things are coming to the world, like amazing, amazing things. And this divide between men and women is only there because men and women think there's a divide, right? It's like the women that are manifesting, all men are like this, and the men that are like, all women are like this. It's like, guess what, guys? You're the one that's creating the problem so that it reflects in the mirror and it validates you. We just need to see things as they are, which is perfect and imperfection. And then you just need to hold that energy. And it's so beautiful because you don't need to change anything for you to feel safe. You don't need to change anything for you to feel happy. It's just you need to recognize it is perfectly imperfect. You are right where you need to be. Being happy doesn't mean devoid of emotion. It's okay if you're a little bit depressed right now, honor it. Be in that depression. Recognize that it's okay and it's serving a purpose. Ask what it's showing you and teaching you, because it's going to lead you into your expansion. And it's just amazing because you realize everything is right where it needs to be. De-stress, pull away. It is so great. It is so great.
As our episode highlighted today, you don't need 30 years in a cave to become enlightened. You just need to be who you already are, fully. As Taylor said, expansion doesn't take effort, it takes surrender. You came with everything you need. Trust it, anchor it, hold the energy, and reality will rise to meet you. If this episode moved you, share it with someone you love. And remember, heaven isn't out there, it's here, right now. Thanks for joining us for today's episode. If you're ready to take your spirituality to the next level, be sure to check out our website, spiritoutspoken.com. There you can download free educational resources, read our latest blog posts, and join the Spirit Outspoken community. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Spirit Outspoken to stay up to date on news, happenings, shenanigans, and all things Spirit Outspoken. Welcome to Spirit Outspoken, the podcast for Christians who are ready to explore the deeper side of faith. We believe God's truth is bigger than what we've been taught, and that real spirituality isn't something to fear, it's something to discover. Each week, we open the space to explore miracles, energy, healing, consciousness, and divine science, all through the lens of a God who loves us and a faith that's still unfolding. Whether you're deconstructing, rebuilding, or just feeling spiritually stuck, this is your place to reconnect with wonder, deepen your walk, and let the Spirit speak.